Welcome to the Small Business Startup Podcast, where we share everything you need to know, not just to start your business, but launch your business, by sharing powerful information and tips from the best business minds in the country. We'll be featuring authors, entrepreneurs, and business professionals who went from barely $20 in the bank to financial liberation. And now your host, business strategist, and the official idea architect, Diana Gladney.
Welcome everyone to the very first episode of the Small Business Startup Podcast. And yes, I am the official idea architect. So just so everybody's clear, what that means just means I'm very gifted with ideas. So now that we have gotten that out the way, let's get this podcast grooving and moving. So one of the things I really have a desire to do is to help more people actually, like just like the intro said, not just start your business, but launch your business. I've been in business since 2010, operating my own consulting business. And that is the main thing that I help people with all the time. Even just in the initial free, 30 minutes consultation session, is helping them to know what it is that they need to do to actually start their business. Okay, well, a lot of times it's like that I'm not giving them everything that they could do or be to be fulfilled, because I'm not really helping them to launch their business. They may, I just need you to help me start it and then I can figure the rest out. Okay, well, I can't force you to continue my services for any particular reason. A lot like with other brands that we use, they can't force us to do anything. Okay, well, but it's still my desire to want to help. But I was like, I can't do it for free and this, that, or whatever. But here's the thing. This actually will help them launch their business. And it actually is a way that I can do it to actually help people launch their business for free. So yes, that's why I'm starting a blog. Everybody, is asking me, why do you want to do a blog now? Why all of a sudden you want to get into, the internet marketing scene and this, and that, or whatever? Okay, well, one, it can help me reach so many more people than just my, local market. And then also, I know how beneficial and how helpful it's been to me and to my business to actually listen, sign up, subscribe to email newsletters, participate in webinars, go to events, all of that. And it's surrounded or involves or deals with the internet marketing scene. And I say scene, but I should really say community, because that's exactly what it is. It's a community of leaders, a community of learners, educators. Everyone has their role in the online market arena. That's what I should have said. Yeah, online market arena. So with that being said, again, I can help so many more people just in that community environment that you can do so much more. So the best way that I could explain it is teaching to a group of people versus still trying to teach to that same number. So if it's 30 in the room and you can teach all of them at the same time, but imagine if you had to teach the exact same thing to the same 30 people, one person at a time. How many hours does that take? That's a lot of time. And so the one thing that I love to do is create systems. Again, everybody's pretty familiar with the acronym SYSTEM, but if you're not, guess what? That's the first thing you're going to learn on the podcast today. So save yourself time, energy, and money. So again, the first thing being time. I'm always being time conscious, not to waste my time on just things that I shouldn't. So you can use your time wisely, but definitely don't waste it. Don't waste it with the wrong people. Don't waste it in the wrong environments. And don't waste it, getting tongue tied. Don't waste it just frivolously doing nothing. So be conscious of your time, because you can't get that back. If you lose $1, you may even be able to find one. You can find some change until you add up to $1. You can find some money. Somebody can give you some money. It's, various different ways that you can get that money back if you lost some money. But there's no way to recuperate time. There's only a way to use the time that you have left better. So again, it's save yourself time, energy, and money. So you are going to need to put forth a certain amount of energy and effort. It is going to be extremely, extremely necessary. Now, the further that you get along in your business, you want to be able to, of course, reduce that, but that's the whole point of the system. And then you have the monetary aspect of it. So now we're talking about saving some money. So first you save yourself some time, and by saving yourself some time, you can reduce the amount of energy that you're exerting. By reducing the amount of energy that you're having to exert, then now you're talking about increasing the monetization of whatever it is that you want to do. So if you want to start a health and wellness business or something within that, health and wellness arena, you can do that. You can create a system for it. You can do that. There is a way to do that. If you want to start any kind of business, let's say a coin laundromat. Just saw one open up in my neighborhood, and it is booming. They launched their business. I actually went in there just to see what it was like, see what that environment was like. And they had free Wi-Fi, they had flat screens, they had, great snacks in the vending machine, brand new machines, and everybody was just loving it. People weren't so apt to, really be stuck in their cell phones. They are just involved in that community. So again, it doesn't matter what business that you want. You just need to get involved in that community, start building and developing relationships with, whether it be the owners, the customers, consumers, whoever you're reaching out to in your target market. You want to reach out to them, build and develop relationships. So all of that is encompassed in developing a system. Now, to get into why I actually wanted to start this particular business, well, okay, so now we're going to go through a little truth session and get to tell you a little bit about myself. So back in 2010, probably really 2009, started to experience some financial hardships, meaning I was broke. So I think everybody at one point or another has been there, or you may still be there. And that is a very uncomfortable position to be in. And I just got tired. I've always hated working. I've never enjoyed it. But you always look for that greener grass and a different pasture somewhere, someplace else in a different valley. It really doesn't matter. You're just looking for someplace better. And if you can find a better job, which is what a lot of people seek to do, you're looking for it. You're applying for it. You're taking people's reviews, if you will, on what their job is like. And you should come here and this and that or whatever. Okay, well, I didn't want any of that. I just wanted to be, quote unquote, free. I wanted to be free of the time that I had to go to some place that I didn't like and be around people that I didn't like and make the money that I didn't like and eat when someone told me to eat. And they may say, lunch is at, 4:00. And I say, hey, I'm not hungry at 4:00. I'm hungry at 12, or I'm hungry at 10:30. I don't have a set time when my stomach is going to say, okay, we're hungry now. No. I'm hungry when I'm hungry. I'm sleepy when I'm sleepy. I want to rise when I'm done sleeping. I don't want to, wake up at the sound of some terrible noise. So I was just in a really bad headspace, and I hated it. Absolutely hated it. And I didn't understand that passion of hate before, because I was a pretty happy person, positive and all of that. But at that point, and probably really for the next maybe like 1.5, 2 years. I'd say 2 years just to be safe. I just was not happy with life at that moment. It was awful. And then I was trying to make things better. You try to get on board and you say, okay, let me participate in this environment of I want to be better. Yes, you can hire me and I want to be a manager and this and that or whatever. I'll dance to your tune and be on time and be early and do more than what I've been paid to do. And then I was introduced to network marketing. Now, hold on. Before you stop the podcast, before you say, she's finna throw a pitch at me, this is not a pitch. Okay, I'm just sharing. That's just sharing my story. It's part of the story. Okay, great. So I got introduced to network marketing. Now, as much as people hate that industry, it's still a community. And I think more than anything else, it's a community of believers that have the ideal of freedom. They want to be free. They want to show people what, freedom is, that it's possible for you. And I think the thing that people, just neglect to look at with that particular industry, is that it is possible, but more importantly, that it's still a business. And I don't think a lot of people are educated to the business aspect of it unless you're making X amount of thousands or hundreds or millions of dollars or what have you. Okay, well, when you first get started, it's a business. The main thing that I see a lot of those companies teaching on is mindset. It's definitely a mindset. There's a shift, a mental shift that has to take place. Well, at that particular time, I'm trying to do a mental shift to get paid more money at my particular job that I hated. And I could only pretend for so long before it just started to seep back out through my pores. And it's just that I just did not want to be there. So when I got introduced to that's my first eye-opening session of freedom and wealth being exposed to me. And more importantly, what I have come to identify it as is a financial liberation. You're liberated from trading your time for dollars. People would say that I can't wait until I'm X years old and I can retire, because we will watch other people retire and they throw a party for them and everybody's happy and we get cake and Kool-Aid. But I wasn't really happy. I felt sad because I'm watching this 70-year-old person, 65-year-old person, sometimes a little bit older, and they already are expecting to have to get another job. Yes, they're happy that they don't, quote unquote, have to commit all of their time to a particular, company anymore. They're going to get some kind of money in the bank without actually having to be in a location. But it's never enough. You've all seen it. You've seen it. The Walmart greeter. I mean, come on. Every city in America has a Walmart greeter. And that's not saying anything about it. It could be your grandmother or your great aunt or whomever. They exist, and there's nothing wrong with that. They may be there because they want to be there. They want to be in a lively environment, and that's 1,000% okay. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the person that's there because they can't afford not to be, even though they're no longer, quote unquote, having to keep a steady job. Okay, well, I'm looking at these people retiring. I'm like, man, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be like that. I don't want someone to use all of my time up, my youth, my energy, my two main things, a part of my system, my time and my energy. And I'm going to give that away for X amount of years, double-digit years? I don't think so. So when I came across network marketing, I was on. Oh, I was in it. I'm at the programs. I'm at the meetings. I'm ordering the products. I'm just head over heels with it because, again, it's my first introduction to the wealth conversation and the possibility of it being real. But more than that, it's just the idea that whatever it is that you want, wherever it is in the world that you want, however it is that you may have to achieve it, you can. So that is what I grasped from that. Regardless as to anything that happened, it was the fact that it became real to me at that time, for the first time in my life, that you can, that I could, that I can. So I started my own business because obviously that did not go well. Now, I know some people personally that did very well in the network marketing industry, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. To each his own, as they say. But for me, road went a little differently. Now, when I came out of that industry, I was very deflated emotionally because I wanted it so bad, and it just did not happen. It didn't come. Now, at the same time, I didn't work nearly as hard as some of the other people to get to where it is that they want it to be. I just don't think it was meant to be, though. I wanted, it's like you want the success, but you really don't want to go through all of that to deal with it. Okay, that was me. Okay, I admit I sucked. Okay, I sucked. But I took away valuable, precious business principles that a lot of people just stepped over when the money didn't instantly come. I'm not telling you to stay someplace that you don't want to be because the money's not there. But sometimes while you're there, while you're in the moment, wherever it is, whatever it is that you're doing, take advantage, pick up what you can, eat the meat, throw the bones away. So with that, I picked up the business principles, get rid of the rest. So with that being said, went along with, the next couple months, because at that point, after that, I had got to a point of this high level of belief. I can quit my job and I will make the money. I'm believing that I can make the money to make this thing work. And I didn't work. I slept in, I ate out. I slept in and I ate out. Now, I did work the business. I did try. I won't say I tried. I really don't care for that word. We'll get to that later. But I didn't work tirelessly. I did not really strive for excellence with that. And so I had to put a period at the end of that sentence for that business. But I had that first wealth conversation. I couldn't drop it. I couldn't get off of it. I could not let it go. So I started my own company. And I was like, you know what? Because again, the main thing that people kept coming to me about was, how do I start my business? Not how do I get involved in this, particular industry, but how do I just regularly start a general business? I have this idea. I want to do this and that and whatever. And the ideas are usually just phenomenal. They're great. But they don't know what paperwork to file. They don't know what tax benefits may be available to them. Nobody's introduced this to them before. They've seen finished products. They've seen the end result. They've seen, the company that already has 10,000 employees, 100 employees, 50 employees, or what have you. But they don't know those starting and beginning stages to actually get there. Okay? Well, I had been exposed to that. And then not to mention, my mother has been in business for probably as long as I've been alive, if not longer, and successful at it, profitable, employees, the whole nine. So I was looking all around for this and that, and all I had to do was ask her. And she immediately enlightened me. We sat down, we came up with the game plan, and boom, profitable business. So I'm amazed. I am amazed that, it was so easy. And you know what? That job that I hated, when I got another job, because I was broke at the time and I'm eating all my profits. Okay, well, it took the pressure off. Man, did it take the pressure off, knowing that, you know what? I'm not really concerned with what that customer says to me, because I was in, of course, customer service, like most people are, in some form, fashion, or another. And I said, you know what? I don't care what that person says to me. They're not upset with me. They're upset with the business, or they're upset with the company that I work for, or they're upset with the product, their experience, or whatever. But I didn't take it personal. Now, they say you're not supposed to do that anyway, but you know how you take it personal. You take it personal. Somebody's yelling and screaming at you over the phone. But that's, for my customer service people, know I get it. But it made my job so much more relaxing, so much more peaceful, that I did not have to worry about that this is my only source of income. And you know what? When I leave here, when I go on lunch, when I'm on my breaks, I am working for me. I talk to people for me. I don't have to just talk and work and spend an endless amount of hours at a company for a corporation, making them probably 2 to 3 times what I'm being paid for. So I felt great. And then I actually had a really, really powerful moment that I will never forget while I was in that network marketing business. We had a Saturday event, and it was here in St. Louis, and we're sitting there, and they wanted to do something completely different, something brand new, and at least for our organization. And I'm telling you guys, within 1 hour, I made as much money in 1 hour sitting in a room, calling, making sales for the product that I had for that particular business. I made more money in 1 hour than I would have made at work all day. All day. So, and I still had to work that day. This was in the morning, and later on that evening, I still had to go to work. I never walked in to a job with a bigger smile than that day. And I'm telling everybody, I've already made as much money as I'm going to make when we clock out today. Oh, I'm not worried about it. If I'm a little later, I'm, leaving a little early, because I've already, in 1 hour, I made as much as I would have made being here all day. and it made the hours go by smoother. And that leverage that I experienced in that 1 hour changed my life. It really did. And I have not been able to get that bug out my system. So again, there you have it. The reason for the Small Business Startup Podcast. Now that's an extended version into the reason why, and I'll have to shorten that up. But at the same time, it's still the truth. And so here we are. Here we are. Just like when you go into the mall and you see those maps with the stars and it says, here are you. So my question to you guys is, where are you? In your map of life, where are you? Where are you located? Where are you going? Are you trying to get down to your favorite clothing store on the other side of the building? Or is it just around the corner? How far do you want to go? Because that's how I envision business. I mean, I have my life map with a bunch of destinations. Some are around the corner. Some are the next parking lot over. Some are in another country. But some are just at the other end of that particular mall in my mind. So for a lot of us, it's financial liberation. Not having to trade time for dollars. Now, earlier, if you recall, I mentioned the word wage. Now, here's a little tip, a little homework assignment for you guys that are listening, and you really want to take business seriously. You really want to understand the concept of a system. You really want to launch your business. The first thing you need to do is learn where you are. And this is not to say this as a negative or anything like that. There are really some powerful, impactful jobs out there and corporations that are just amazing. Amazing. And people don't think they exist, but they do. I've experienced it for myself. So I'm not knocking a job or corporate. You could be somewhere that you love and you just want to start a business. I'm with it. I'm with it. You don't have to want to do anything differently. But for those that want or seek and have a desire, maybe not today, next year, or 5 or 10 years, maybe you want to finish that career out, but you want to do something else on the side. I tell you one thing for those financial liberators, those that have that bug in their mind the same way like I do. Go and look up the word wage, WAGE. Post it on for the show notes. So go to the smallbusinessstartup.com/show001. So again, that's the smallbusinessstartup.com/show001. And put some comments down below the show notes about what definition did you find. So again, that's the word WAGE, and look that up. And then also I want somebody to send me the definition, also still in the show notes, for liberation. 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 So put what you found for wage and put what you found for liberation at the smallbusinessstartup.com/show001. I think that's going to be very informative for a lot of people. And so it doesn't matter. You can move all the way up the ranks to become the CEO of wherever it is that you're currently employed at. I'm not knocking jobs at all. Actually, again, at that same time, when I was working for a particular company that I absolutely hated, and I do mean that, and to the fullest extent of that word, I hated that particular job. But anyway, I digress. I actually became free of hating jobs and just, having so much anger and emotion and, such that strong desire that I was no good to my company at that time, not my corporation, but the company I was working for. I'm still getting a check. I'm still showing up to work, but it's getting harder and harder to be there. And so if you're having this problem, I want to recommend a book to you. It's by Danny Johnson, and it's called The First Steps to Wealth. And again, it's DANI Johnson, just like it sounds. So it should be available on DannyJohnson.com, but I'll see if I can get you guys a deal. But anyway, so that book is called The First Steps to Wealth. Now, she has other programs like First Steps to Success and all of that. And I participated in some of her programs, and they are amazing. But that book she had just actually written that book, and she was giving it away for free. And so everybody knows when they see that free word, it's just like, a deer in the headlights. They got to stop and figure out what's going on. But she was giving that book away, and all you had to do was pay for the shipping. And I think shipping was maybe less than $7. And I needed it in my life so bad at that moment because I just couldn't function. I was angry when I woke up. I was angry when I went to sleep. I'm thinking about work when I'm not even there. I'm thinking about work when I'm not being paid to think about work. And when I'm at work, all I can do is think about home. And I just wish I was in my bed, and I wish I was resting, and I wish I could wake up when I want to eat. And I don't feel like going to break right now. I needed to go to break, 15 minutes ago. And I just needed to come out of that. It's the reverse of a depression almost, but it's just a negative depression, so to speak. You just stuck in that mode. So if you're feeling like that, this is at no cost to me. I don't make a dime from recommending Danny Johnson. She probably won't even know that this podcast exists, but I'm telling you because I want to help you. So if you see that she still has that book available on DannyJohnson.com, so it's probably available on Amazon as well, but get the book, The First Steps to Wealth. And what that book did for me was just astounding. I think I read through it in maybe like 2 sittings. And the thing that helped me the most was the fact that she talked about having that desire, having that dream, and wishing that you could be out of it, but you're still working a job. Okay, well, when you do like I did and you stop your job prematurely, all of these pressures come upon you. And unless you have some income producing idea or way or motive or something going on to make that money come to you, you are, operating with a gun to your head at that point. And, every deal you need it. And you can't afford to take a no. You can't afford for it not right now. You need everything right now because your bills is right now. Your gas tank is on right now. You need it right now. And so I needed that book at that particular point, and I needed it now. And she talked about operating as the owner, no matter how much you're no matter how much you're making at your particular job. So that didn't make any sense. And I remember stopping reading at that point, like, why would I act like the owner at my business and, at my job, like it's my business, and they don't pay me like I would pay me. If I was going to pay me, I'd pay me millions of dollars. I'd be worth this to myself and so forth. But I wasn't getting a higher income because I wasn't producing. To them, I had little value. Regardless as to what you think about yourself, your corporation, your job, wherever it is that you are, they will pay you according to your value. Everything is centered around value. The more value you create, the more income you produce. You create more value in whatever profession, environment, community that you're in, you'll be elevated. I've not found one area in life that does not work in your family. You create more value, you become elevated. In your job, where you are, you create more value, you get paid more, you get more responsibilities, you get more privileges, you get more opportunities. Your name is on the tip of everyone's tongue when you create more value. You create less value, you're more of a hindrance, you're a problem. You are the gum on someone's shoe when you don't create value. And I'm sorry to be so blunt about it, but that's just the way it is. Everything is centered around value, and you are paid according to the value. So just the same way with the worth ethic and, everything like that you can put into a business, you're paid in accordance to the value that you produce. So I had to take, me out of the equation at that point when I was reading that book. And it's like, you know what? This lady makes way more money than I do. She knows much, much more information than I do. And I bought her book. I had better listen to her and not listen to me in that moment, because my best thinking has gotten me here. The best thoughts that I could think about at that particular time had gotten me at a very low level. So in my thoughts and my ideas at that particular point about, this doesn't make any sense. Why should I do this and this and that or whatever? Yeah, you be quiet and let's listen to somebody that knows, that has the solution. Because right now, all I have is a list of problems. Let's listen to somebody with the solution. So after I had quieted myself and gotten myself together, I continued to read on. I said, you know what? I want to implement this. And she has so many actionable steps that you can use. And I was like, okay, I'm going to implement this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure this out. So I pulled out a notebook and started taking notes, started writing everything down. I started putting, 1, 2, 3, and this is my outline. This is what I'm going to do. I'm okay in this area. This area needs a whole lot of work. I'm okay in this one. This area is, it's okay. I could do better. And I'm, really figuring out my mental mall map and where am I? Where am I? So I'm all the way in the parking lot. Right now, I just need to get to the mall, to the doors of the mall. And they'll be automatic doors. They will open up automatically for you. And that's exactly what I experienced when I went from not creating any value at all, having a bad attitude, coming to work late, and just not with a don't care attitude. And I'll do this job if you pay me more to do it, or let me clock out of this position and clock into this position. Then I'll do this now or whatever. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that at all. Unfortunately, I don't care what actually, wonderful power you possess on the inside that I know that is there, that exists, that beast within inside you that exists, that has your solutions. At that particular moment, when you're clocked in under that number, that serial number and ID number that they give you, and you have to act accordingly, unfortunately. But it can be fortunate when you start creating value. So I started creating more value. I started doing this, and it became a genuine motive that I had to do better and want to be better, and it paid, and it's still paying. And so I've taken that principle, and that one alone. I took so many other principles out of that book, but I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take some principles out of different resources that I've had, and I'm going to include them specifically here. So I will probably include some affiliate links that if you want to help me out, you can click on them. I'll give it to you in the show notes as well as on the podcast. That way, if you come back to it later, listen to it again. If you want to help me out, go ahead and click on the link, and it won't cost you an extra dime, and you can still order and get the same resources and tools that you usually would. And I would appreciate it greatly. So moving on. Took that Danny Johnson book and it changed my life. Period, point blank, end of story. I mean, I could go on and on and on about how much this book changed my life, but it really did. And then from that point on, I had already been exposed to personal development. I had already been exposed to, the wealth conversation. And so I began to merge the two together. And I just started having amazing results in my life. Things started getting better and better. And they only got worse when I self-sabotaged them myself. And that can be from a lot of different things. Not going to get into it on this episode because I want to keep this one a little short. But you can self-sabotage yourself and deflate your own success. And I say deflate because at that point you're still blowing the balloon up, and as a metaphoric symbol, you're still blowing the balloon up. You're still filling it up with air. It has not yet reached its capacity. It's not yet to a solid state. And you're still pumping air through. You're still pumping energy through it. You're still filling it up. And it doesn't take much. Any little bit of pressure that you let up off of that balloon, guess what happens? You start to hear that little seep. That seep noise that comes, that air starting to come out. And then if you let a little bit more out, it just goes blah, and let all the gas out. And so everybody's had that they understands that analogy, that playing with the balloon when you're a kid and you're letting some of the air out. And, at that point in your life, it's fun. When you're a kid, you're playing with it. But as an adult, it's tough and it is rough and it hurts financially, emotionally. It is heart-wrenching. So I'm going to So I'm going to share with you guys everything that I know, and I'm going to reach beyond what I know to those who have some of the answers that we desperately seek. So I'm going to be bringing on authors, entrepreneurs, writers, just of amazing content online, just the most successful business minds in the country. We're going to be bringing them right here on the Small Business Startup Podcast. And I am so honored to be the one to expose you to them, expose you to the content that they're going to be providing, expose you to the ideas that you'll get just from listening to them speak, not to me, because it's not about me, it's about you guys. So get ready, buckle your seatbelts, because it's your time. So remember, don't just start your business, but launch your business. Everybody have a great week. Take care. Love you guys.